with all the snow and people out shoveling snow, I've got a funny story to tell about shoveling snow. Before I went to work for Ma Bell, I my wife at the time and I ran a boys' home in Garden City, Kansas. And we had anywhere from 8 to 10 boys at a time, sometimes fewer. But anyway, they were all pretty good kids. But one time at Thanksgiving, we had a big snowstorm. And usually they'd go home to their parents for visitation at that time, but a number of them couldn't go because their folks lived out of town and the highways were closed and everything. But anyway, long about Friday morning, the snow had quit, and some of them wanted to go out and shovel snow. So they rounded up some snow shovels. We had a couple at our house, which was across the street. They borrowed some from the neighbors, and about 4 of them took off shoveling snow. Well, one or two came back within a couple hours, but one boy, Mark, and we won't use their real names to protect the innocent, he was gone all day, almost the whole day, and he came back before dark, and I told him, well, you got to be back here before dark, and that he came back and stuff. And then he went out Saturday morning again, and he came back about mid-afternoon. And then he asked me, he said, can I go to the Garden Bowl, which was a bowling alley? And they had hamburgers and stuff besides bowling and video games. And I said, yeah, that'll be all right. I said, you got to be back by curfew, which was 10 o'clock, and I said, if you want, I'll come pick you up. Oh, no, that's okay. I'm going to meet a friend or two. All right, that's fine. So anyway, he got back on time, and the next day, about mid-afternoon, he started complaining that his stomach hurt and was real bad. And he was complaining that it was real painful. And I mean, the poor kid, he acted like he had cramps or something. And of course, I thought, well, he might have an appendicitis. So I called the old doctor. Dr. Ray was his name. He was kind of an old pill pusher, but he was a good doctor for the boys' home. And I called him up, and he said, well, bring him down to the emergency room, but just tell him don't check in. Just tell him you want one of the visitation rooms, and I'll be there about 5 o'clock. So I took Mark down there about 5 and went in there, and Doc got done with his rounds, and he came in and he said, how you doing, son? And oh, my stomach hurts and everything else. So he kind of felt his stomach and everything and made sure, and checked him over, and he said, well, what have you been doing all weekend? He had a long weekend. And he said, oh, he said, I went out shoveling snow. And Doc said, you went out shoveling snow? He said, yeah, I went all over. He said, I went shoveling snow. And the doc said, well, did you make any good money? And he said, yeah, I made about $150. And I was flabbergasted. I thought maybe they'd make $20 or $30 or something, but this kid was real. He was a money making kid. If he could find a way to make some money, he'd do it. But anyway, he ended up. The doctor. I said, $150. How'd you do that? And he said, well, I went up on Briar Hill and shoveled those people's driveways up there. Well, Briar Hill was kind of a ritzy neighborhood there in Garden City. And, there were a lot of houses that had sloped driveways. And I said, well, how many did you shovel? He says, oh, I don't know, maybe 7 on the first day and then only about 3 the next day. And I said, they were happy. They paid me real good. I said, okay, you know. Then I said, well, do you have any of the money left? And he said, no. He said, you know, you let me go to the bowling alley last night and I treated all my friends. We bowled and we played video games and I bought hamburgers and Cokes and everything. We just had a good time. I said, okay, I guess, you know. And Doc says, well, you got a pretty good deal there, didn't you? Made $150. And he said, yeah, I did. And Doc said, yeah, but now you got a $125 doctor bill. And Mark says, oh, I don't have to pay for that. The SRS is going to pay for that. The social, that was the group that financed the boys' home. But anyway, that's my snow shoveling story. You folks be careful. If you're my age or older, hire some kid to shovel snow. Don't want to hear about anybody having a heart attack. That's why we have snow blowers here in Kansas. But anyway, be safe. And it's going to get warmer. Bye.